it's a life actually. We are working, but we have a life on board. So, and you are doing that for me. It's my life, and I like to do that because the guest is the people. So I love that.
Cruise ship performers. You can tell it's their passion. More on Jim Bratton Podcast.
This is Jim Bratton Podcast, a podcast exploring his personal interests, interviews with artists and musicians, as well as other creators, an opinion or two, or more, poetry and prose, ambient sound, binaural and ASMR, audio produced for meditation and relaxation, experimental sound or music, and those exploring aesthetic boundaries. You may enjoy some, or all, or none. Now, here's Jim.
This is Jim Bratton Podcast from the patio at Marmo, and we're talking to, and give me both your names, please.
My name is Justin. I'm from South Africa. I'm 25 years old, and I'm a performer on board Carnival Cruises.
I'm Francisco from Argentina, Buenos Aires, and I'm 33, and I'm a performer too on Carnival as a singer.
And you are
I'm a dancer.
dancer, singer.
Dancer, singer, yeah.
Now, I got so many questions because I've seen you guys come and go so many times, all right? So, number one, how long is your typical tour on board then?
A contract can vary from between 6 to 9 months on Carnival specifically, but some other ships do up to 11 months.
Really?
Yeah, it depends the company. Carnival is like a 6 months on board, but you have 2 months or maybe 1 month and a half before for rehearsals for us as artists.
And where do you build the show?
Miami. So Carnival actually has studios in Miami, and that's where we rehearse for about 2 months.
2 months to build how many shows?
God, it depends on what ship you're on. So for the Jubilee specifically, you only have...
Yeah, for example, I want to say on Jubilee we have 2 theaters, like a 2 cast. We have the central stage. We have plays. So as a central stage performer, we have 2 main shows. In Jubilee, for example, now we have Rio de Janeiro show. It's like Brazil, that kind of vibe. Okay. So we are singing in English and Spanish and in Portuguese. And it's with singers, dancers, aerialists, musicians. And we have We Are One is the last show for the last night for the people. It's like a
celebration of countries and cultures.
And after that we have 4 shows more with like a band set with musicians. Just the singer with musicians. So we have 6 shows for us. But on playlist, because Kim is on
playlist, we had I think we had 4 main production shows, and then two like mini shows that are quite short and intimate. And it took us, we had a rehearsal of 7 weeks for that.
So this is like building a repertoire theater from scratch every time then.
Yeah. We have about a week per show.
Yeah.
So, which is quite crazy. I mean, they have like 20 odd songs each.
So it needs to singing and dancing, so you need to know the choreography, the costume changes, the sound check, everything for one show for 1 week. And in Carnival, actually you have more shows. This is in Jubilee,
Right.
and our ship. But you have like almost 25, 27 ships in Carnival, so you have a lot of shows. You see, you have like almost 20 different shows. Yeah, that's about it.
What is the risk of going up when you've got that many shows in your repertoire?
I mean, eventually it becomes muscle memory, right? So you just start remembering. So the beginning process is quite difficult. It's a lot of pressure. You have to really focus quite hard. But as soon as as soon as you've opened them on the ship, then you kind of get used to it. I sometimes think about what I'm going to eat while I'm performing. You kind of just get used to it.
There.
Yeah, it just gets into your body and your muscles just remember exactly what to do.
Same thing on lyrics?
Yeah, it's the same. Sometimes in my first, second week, maybe my first month, it's difficult to know everything in the same time because it's premiere too, so everything is new. But about the lyrics, for me as a singer, I think so. This is my best problem because it's a lot. Actually, it's a lot, and it's not just the lyrics. It's you need to know the harmonies because you are singing in different harmonies with different singers, and at the same time you are dancing. But it's like a memory, and for us, for me, Spanish. So I need to understand the language too, and I need to know what I'm saying, what I'm singing, and I need to translate in the same time because I need to express. I need to do my interpretation, right? So it's more difficult.
So this enters a whole nother question. What is your brain language when you're performing?
Ah,
Very good question.
what is my
Brain language, like
Yeah.
to you.
What's inside?
it depends the song because if I know the song, like because before, for example, in Rio de Janeiro now, I can speak a little bit in Portuguese, so I can understand. So I don't need to translate too much, but in some songs it's like I'm singing in English, but I'm understanding in the same time what I'm saying. I don't need to translate too much, but I think so. It depends the songs. Maybe in Vincent is easier because you have some choreography, but it's easier, so you can think more fast the lyrics. But if you are dancing, if you are thinking about your sorry, you have a lot of things to do. That's a little bit more complicated for me because lyrics.
Do you revert that
Yeah.
native language in your brain then?
Yeah. But
So you've
it's a good experience too because, for example, I work in Asia, my contract, but non carnival in MSC, and I sang Japanese and Chinese. That's so complicated too because as a singer, you want to know what you are saying.
But those phonics and the rhythm is totally
Funny.
different.
No, it's funny. It's so funny. When you need to, the first moment when you are learning that, it's so funny because you can't understand what you're saying, and that kind of how do you say is difficult too. But it's a good experience. I think so. It's different. Yeah, it's good. It's good in Italian, in French. It's not. I'm speaking, but I'm singing. So for respect too, you need to. And my English is not the best actually. So I'm learning too. Why you fair? I noticed a little bit. It's true. No, it's true. It's true. I know that. I'm trying. No, but so for that reason, it's more difficult for me too. So
I'm amazed at your flexibility. The idea that now here's a question that I've wanted to ask. We see a lot of cruise workers come through here to buy Marlowe because it's close and it's convenient and they serve alcohol. So large portion of your audience is American tourists. You know, we don't have the best reputation as being an incredibly well-behaved or understanding tourist bunch. What's it like? And what's it like playing to Americans versus, say, a Euro or a Latin audience?
Interesting question. I mean, the shows that we do are catered to the American guests, right? So they understand what it's about, and most of the time it's incorporated for the American people. It's not necessarily. I mean, Rio de Janeiro is a little
Yeah. I think so. I'm Latino, so for me, when you are doing one show that people actually is so crazy, you finish one song that people is like off the chair because this is Latin America actually and America too, but I think so it's depend the show too.
Yeah.
For example, when we are doing like trap rocking or some show like more country or with rock bands or playlists have their future husband, it's more like a so American show. The American people is amazing. It's I think so it's depend what you are doing. For example, we have one show like a Latin show, and when for example, I sang in Spanish, and some people can understand what you say, but it's a good bite too. I think so because USA too is a little bit Latin. Some people,
of course.
Miami.
Yeah.
It depends. But yeah, I think so. It depends the show.
Yeah, no, the American guests are pretty chilled. I mean, it's a theater production, so it's not meant to be crazy. And, there are crazy moments in the show, definitely, where, the people can go crazy and sometimes they can get involved and come up on stage. But no, I wouldn't say that.
And it's a lot of things happen because you have areas too. You have some people dancing. Maybe they can understand everything, but it's wow, everything is a lot. So for that reason, the people sometimes, for me, when I'm on stage, it's like the people maybe it's like a quiet or something like this, but it's because doesn't understand. It's like because they are so surprised because when they finish the song, the people is like crazy. But I think so. It depends the show, and yeah,
Yeah, it depends on the show and the music.
yeah.
For example, the rock shows we usually have, the guests go crazy. But then the show is kind of centered around knowing that the guests are probably going to go crazy. So we go into the audience, we play with the guests, we get them involved. Yeah.
And let's ask one final question that I like to ask people that are in a fairly unique career. Tell me about someone who would like to look at performing on a cruise ship. What are the odds? What's the preparation? And what are the chances of success?
A very high chance of success, for sure. There's a lot of cruise ships, a lot of cruise companies, a lot of work for performers. And I would probably say cruise ships are a really good place to start for anyone who wants to work internationally and who may not have incredible opportunities in their country. That's why I started cruise ships, essentially, because in my country, we don't really have many international opportunities.
Right.
So, it's very easy to get into cruise ships, and it's a really good job to do as well. It's consistent money. You travel the world, you meet incredible people, you learn a lot from these shows.
And everybody have different backgrounds. Study, for example, I'm living in Mexico, so I work in Argentina a lot and in Mexico too. But I wanted to have another kind of experience, so you can. I love because it's not easy live on a ship. Actually, it's good. It's beautiful, but you have a lot of things. For example, when the ship is moving too much. That's so difficult for me. For example, I feel horrible because you feel like uncomfortable with your but it's depend. But it's good because you can know a lot of countries and you can work with maybe 20 countries in the same cast. So that's crazy. Yeah, it's a good experience. Yeah.
I'm assuming that there has to be a very solid basic skill set before you would think about it.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, some people go and study musical theater and they go to universities. In my experience, I didn't study. I kind of taught myself how to dance and then just kept on seeking opportunities that would better myself as a dancer. Yeah. So, I mean, you have to be versatile. You have to be able to do absolutely everything. So you have to be able to act. You have to be able to sing. You have to be able to dance different styles, sometimes speak different languages that you maybe have never spoken before. Performers in general are very adaptable people. And you have to be. You can't be set.
Final question. This is just a matter of coincidental. How big are your quarters?
How big are our quarters where we sleep?
Yes.
So the singers have it nice.
Oh, so are there strata?
Yeah, definitely. So the singers usually get their own cabins.
Yeah.
They usually have a double bed. Sometimes they have bunk beds. But they get their own space to live in. The dancers we share, but the quarters are not as small as people think.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a good amount of space. You don't feel like you're constantly confined. It's not massive. It's not huge.
It depends the ship too.
It depends on the ship.
Because,
Not
for
all
example, we
ships.
have like an Excel. So it depends the ship. For example, we are in Jubilee. Jubilee is the last one, so it's then the last. Yeah.
That's
So
considered
beautiful.
primo.
You can see that too, and it's not the same. It's smaller. But yeah, well, I'm a singer, so I will have always my cabin. For me, that's amazing. That's amazing, actually. But yeah, and our places that we have like 3, 4 restaurants that we wanna go. We have crew area, so we have our crew mess, crew bar, crew lounge, crew disco,
Tables,
yeah,
PlayStations,
pools. We have how about that?
pool table.
Pool tables, sorry,
Football, yes.
futsal, yes, yeah. And some knowing that the Shiba, we have like a pool, group pool. We have all places. That's it's fine because we have another life like the people, that the guests.
So you have a parallel but non-intersecting except on the stage.
Yeah. I mean, we, as performers, we do have a lot of privileges to be able to go upstairs and go eat with the guests, hang out with the guests. They encourage us to have dinner with guests if they invite us. We can go up and do the roller coaster. There's a lot of things the performers are allowed to do, but it's because we're centered around people.
Yeah.
We're meant to entertain people and make sure they have a good time.
You are an interface.
In one time per week, we have meet the performers.
So we do this.
Yeah, 6. Yeah, so 6 or 7 and different departments. One musician for the rock band, one playlist dancer, one string guy. Depend the bands. And we have like a meet with some guests, and they ask like, "What is your life like this? What is your favorite hobby when you are outside?" Something like that. It's good because you can. It's a life actually. We are working, but we have a life on board. So, and you are doing that for me. It's my life, and I like to do that because
This is interesting.
the guest is the people. So I love that.
What a great way to wrap up.
This has been Jim Breton Podcast. We hope you have enjoyed, been inspired, informed, angered, or otherwise emotionally stimulated. This is your booth announcer, Sierra Sequel.